Hello. I'm not in the mood for it all. What a surprise. I started with the feather dress, but I didn't came that far because I was lazy. And I don't really feel in a doll mood today. But I feel in a crafting mode. Mood. Crafting mood. So I decided to buy some stuff from the equivalent of the dollar store in Germany. I will show you my haul and we will craft something with it. And I know it's not interesting, but doing some crafts is better than doing nothing, so I hope you still enjoy. Have fun! When I show you what I bought, I think it will be clear immediately what I have in mind. The thing that could give it away right away is this. I think everyone knows what they are. I don't know how they are called in English, like so often. But I thought they were hella cute and exactly what I had in mind for building some outdoor furniture for my dolls. I have stuff like this outdoor myself. A sofa made out of these that I never use because I'm a vampire and I don't go outdoors. So why not do something like this for my dolls that might be never used, because I tend to make fantasy dolls. They don't look great in a modern environment, but who cares? And because I want to make some more, I bought three pieces, and there are 4 in each, so we have 12 of these. That will give us a sofa, a table, and maybe some background decorations. And because, like I said, most of my dolls are fantasy themed, I decided to build a pergola. Pergola, you know what I mean. A combination out of something where flowers can blossom on and a pavilion. I don't know the English words. I should have looked them up before. But I think I will research them, put this somewhere in the frame, and you already know what I mean. So, and because I want to build this, I bought this. Because I thought I can use the individual pieces for decorating the pavilion pergola thing. Then we have some fake flowers, just a small amount, but maybe I will use them. I bought a birdhouse, and last 2 things I bought some shields that you can put somewhere. So let's start building some stuff. While my hot glue gun was heating up, it was time to first stack them in different positions just to see what I would like the most, and to take a look at how many of them I need to stack on top of each other so that the dolls can sit on there quite comfortably. Yeah, after that I just glued everything together the way I thought it looked good. After the base was glued together, I took out some popsicle sticks, broke them in half, and glued them to the back of the seating piece to get a little bit more support for the back support. That sounds totally strange. More support for the back support. More support for the back support. You know what I mean. Obviously, when you do something like this in human size, you can't just use hot glue. You need a lot more. But that is not the case with our little crafting here. For our dolls, this is more than enough. So, yeah. Because our dolls always get more nice things than we ourselves. Yeah. Because our dolls can't just sit on plain wood. How ridiculous. We obviously need some pillows and cushions. So I took out the foam that I had left and I had to glue it together a little bit. But then I decided to just take some fabric and glue that on as well. Yeah, I did this, I was finished with it, I burned my fingers a ton, and then I decided, no, I don't like it. So I removed the fabric again and sewed everything. I did this off camera, so you just see the finished pillows in the end, and I have to say, I quite like them. Because of their Alice in Wonderland theme. Oh yeah, and at first I thought I would make this L shape in one. That was a bad idea. I cut it off and so I now have 3 cushions. But yeah, it worked in the end, so I'm fine with it. With some gesso I just put on 1 coat of paint because I didn't want it to be completely white, just, yeah, like a little bit bleached, or I think you know what I mean. I wanted an effect that is not completely solid one color, that the natural part could come through a little bit. Then, because I like to torture myself, I started with the roof of the pergola, you know what I mean? And I had these little, matches without the hat, that I ordered years ago. I glued them together crosswise to get a roof. And that took quite a long time. I did most of it off camera because hell, that took a long time. For the basic structure, I measured the wood that I had laying around, and yeah, basically it's just a square out of a little bit thicker wood. Then it was time to heat up the things that I made and press them because they were not as straight as I liked them. Yeah. After that, just assembly time. I first glued together the long pieces of wood into a cubic shape, cut down my made roof, and glued that in, as well as the little pieces that I made as kind of, railing or whatever. Then I ventured outside and attacked our birch tree that is in the backyard with some scissors and cut off some branches. I tried to use some of them that were, laying on the ground from being cut last year, but they were a little bit too brittle. The fresh ones worked totally fine. I wove them in and out between the squares of the pergola and, set this aside for a moment to let it dry more or less. I just left it for one day and it was enough. This gives us the base for adding our fake plants. And because I went to the store a second time, I decided to buy some fake lavender to act as flowers that are coming from above. And that turned out to be quite the nice idea. I really like the pergola in the end. I made most of this off camera as well as the Dreamcatcher, but I wanted to show you at least how it was made. I am not trying to explain exactly how it was made because, the whole going around and getting the thread in place by locking it with itself is a bit too complex for me to explain. So, if you want to know how a Dreamcatcher is made, look at tutorials online. Here on YouTube, you will find a bunch of them. And they will be far easier to understand than anything I could tell you. But I think I'm able to explain how I made these dangly things. If you made jewelry in your life at some point and you have remaining pieces, take them out. You have these long pieces of wire, either with a loop at the end or with a head, and on that you can put your beads and bead caps on as you like. The most important part is to make a loop at the end and connect your single pieces with a jump ring so that they are still dangly. And then I painted the birdhouse. I decided to just go simple and make it white and purple so that it will fit into the whole color scheme. I tried to make the background not too colorful so that it won't clash with any dolls that I would like to photograph there in the future. The very last thing I finished was this bar plant thing. You can either use it as a bar or as a backdrop planter piece. So that is why I glued in the grass and the flowers. And I found this grass mat when I was walking to the store the second time, and it lay on one of the railings of the houses here and had a sign on it that you can take it with you, which always is great. I love when people do that because most of the stuff I can't use, but this was something I really was happy about. And I really like that, you just leave it out and whoever wants it can take it. And if no one takes it, you can still throw it away. I love upcycling, even if I don't do it that much. With my clothing I do it a lot. Doesn't matter. As a bit of bonus content, I thought I'd show you how I set up the scene for taking pictures. First, obviously, I have to clean my whole desk. Then, because my picture tent is too big, I need 2 boards to place the tent on. And then I use a backdrop. I have at this moment mainly this one. I think I want to buy some more, but I have to find some that work with my ideas. I have two photo lamps that are on each side, and they are bright enough to help me with my filming and with the photographing. The tent that I have distributes the light so that it's softer and not as aggressive. Then I place everything I want in the scene, and while placing it, I keep in mind how the scene will look through the lens, not how it looks in that moment. When you look at it now, the display looks awful, because in the background there is the grass, but in the foreground, under the pergola, there is nothing. The backdrop doesn't reach to the bottom of the scene. But all this is not as necessary, because obviously as soon as you take a picture, you won't see the whole scene. And that is something I feel I struggled with quite a lot in the beginning. I set up a scene and tried to make it as neat as possible, and then I took one picture and had to redo the whole scene. So, when you keep in mind what will be visible through the camera, it's enough. As an added light source, I use a ring light sometimes, and in this moment it was necessary, which was too late, so I had to bend down my whole tent. But then I took my first picture. And I think it turned out quite nice. The second one I took was just from another position. I left everything as it was and just took the lamp with me. This is not as bright, which is a little bit nicer. The first one was quite bright. Then I change up everything. For the next thing I have in mind, I don't need the tree because it is a portrait photo. So the doll that I want to photograph now will be seen up close, and you won't see that much of the backdrop. The thing why I want to picture him in the pergola is because of the plants around him. So that is the focus for me. Again, working with the ring light to see which light I like the most. One thing I noticed that I always have a problem with, I go far too close to the doll with the camera. I think most of the time it's nicer to back up a little bit and zoom in, so you have more stuff that is sharp in the picture. It may not be the biggest problem when you just photograph one doll, but as soon as you have more than one player in it, or you want to depict a whole scene, it can look quite ugly, because most of the time one character is completely out of focus. I show you this scenery because that was exactly the problem I had. I wanted to have a wider shot that you will see now, and the Rococo one was always unsharp, so yeah, something to keep in mind. But who am I to tell you all this? Especially with taking pictures, I have the problem that I am mediocre at best. With so much things, I'm mediocre at best because I make too many things. So I think my skills are quite fine, but it could be better. So all of this is just from my point of view, and it's not any professional advice. Maybe it's just not even the right advice, but it is what I experienced with taking pictures. So I hope you have a lovely day, and we will see you in another video. Bye.